Good afternoon, everyone. It's Stephen and Paul from WinExtra bringing you your daily brief of Microsoft news for January 26, 2011. And you'll have to pardon Paul because he's in a little bit of a ranty mood prior to coming on the show, and I think I only aggravated him. So just have patience with him. Have patience with him. And I'm sure that he'll calm down enough during the show.
As long as anybody doesn't mention fucking team developers during the show, we'll be happy.
Theme developers.
Yes. No, seriously, look, sideways little rant. I know it's not Microsoft enabled, but everybody who watches this show is probably in some way technically inclined. Okay? So, WordPress theme developers, please, if there's no need to put bits of your theme into extraneous files besides, the established ones, if there's no actual need for it, please don't do it. Consider the server resources. And I hate to say it, but I was ranting about this to you pre-show. Think about your code before you post it, please. Especially when you're dealing with like menus and options and that sort of stuff. I was dealing with a theme today, sort of using it as a base to redesign, and I went in and midway through the header file they had a custom.php. So after you select the style sheets are selected, they then had this custom file that loaded that was supposed to select which of the custom CSS files you would want. Now, looking at the code, it turned out that they had about 20 different CSS files in there. Basically, all they needed was 7, one for each option, but no, they decided then that inside the custom.php file there was 564 lines of code.
Paul's on a wobbly.
Which were if-else statements pretty much the entire way, just to decide which segments to use. I mean, even the worst coder could have put in that. Okay, obviously not the worst, because the worst coder wrote this, but, a beginner coder could have done that in less than, 20 lines of code. 564! But when I go in to edit a theme for development, and I spend most of my morning taking out extraneous lines of code, and between the index file, the header file, and the footer, I've already taken out over 1,000 lines of extraneous code. They ain't getting credit for it on the new site because I've rewritten the thing from the ground up.
Okay, anyway, speaking of the ground up, well, sort of, I guess. Trying to work a segue into this, but I'm not sure how I'm going to get it there. But
there
anyway,
is no segue
I
from
know.
Flaherty gives out about WordPress developers on a Microsoft show.
Yes.
Well, it's not WordPress developers, it's just team developers in general.
Yeah.
It's not
Anyway, apparently it's official now. Microsoft is excited by the Kinect hacking projects that are going on.
Good for Microsoft. They're officially excited and I'm officially cranky. Do we need really to talk about that? I think the listeners know that for themselves.
The interesting part is that as excited as they are as a company, maybe there seems to be a few employees, one by the name of SoCal Sam, who thinks it's just a bunch of nonsense.
Well, look, I just read through his post very briefly before we came on air, and basically what I'm seeing here is this guy's giving out about the hacking, and he's saying, the hacks that are going on with Kinect aren't really hacking. There's no point in doing this hacking because you're spending money to buy something and you're never going to make money yourself from it. And it's obvious that he just doesn't get the hacker mentality, which is that, these people who buy these things, they don't specifically... There might be one in 20,000 that buys one specifically to hack it. The rest of them just... when it's not connected up to their Xbox, they're playing with it,
Yeah.
And I also think his post very much comes off as, I don't like all these hackers who are hacking Kinect, and I think it's a waste of time. Why don't they go get a real job like me? Because even though I have a real job, I can't afford a Kinect. And I want to play too, but I can't play, so I'm going to moan about it and whine like a...
Yeah, Tom Warren from WinRuminers and I were talking about it on Twitter this morning, and we both came to the conclusion the guy's a moron. It's just a total moron.
Yeah, I know, and he's a Microsoft employee.
I know.
He probably works in a tea room or something, you know?
He's probably middle management.
Oh, yeah, he's probably one of those managers that, you know, because since Bammer has come on, they've started to bring in a lot of middle management that have really no coding skills whatsoever.
That's, you know? Yeah, and that's their biggest problem. They got to cut that middle management down.
They're really much more sort of, well, obviously they're sort of business oriented and that sort of stuff, rather than, you know, prior to that, all the middle managers had been people who were promoted and they were coders become managers.
They've got 84,000 employees worldwide, and I figure if they cut out about 75,000 of them, they'd be back to being a good company again.
Yeah, but you know what? Then there'd only be like, there'd still be like 500 middle managers, right? And nobody would have been dropped from anywhere else.
Speaking of middle management or managers, the next big conference really for Microsoft and developers is a mixed conference. I believe it's in April. And word is that we can expect a major dust-up between two divisions within the company.
I don't get this.
And the HTML5, there's going to be two keynote speakers. Joe Bellafiore from Windows Phone 7, who is going to be hawking the HTML5 CSS3 line, and Scott Guthrie, who is the head of Silverlight at Microsoft, is going to be obviously promoting the Silverlight. And if you read the post over at the Next Web, they've already got some smack talk quotes going down, and it's just priceless. So I think we can expect some fireworks coming out of Mix this year. It should be fun to.
I don't know. I don't get this. I don't understand why there has to be rivalry here. I don't understand why
don't either.
Silverlight and HTML can't coexist, because both have strengths that the other one doesn't and won't live up to. There is a place for both. It does not have to be one or the other.
That seems to be the mentality, though, in Microsoft. Like, we've heard a lot about the infighting that goes on in between the divisions in the company, instead of them all saying, hey, look, we all work for Microsoft. Let's make the company the rip-roaring success it could be and work together instead of protecting
this is the kind of stupidity that leads to sort of like, well, obviously it didn't lead to the Apple decision to get rid of Flash, but it's that kind of thing, you know, you can have one standard, but you can't have the other.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, why not? If the device is powerful enough, why not?
Yeah.
Why not have both?
Yeah.
You know? And, I mean, Silverlight is a Microsoft-only baby. And, you know, HTML5 is not that. Yes, it comes with some, you know, it's a wonderful advancement over HTML4. You've got lots of new media tools in there. You know, it's gone beyond sort of the web development language.
But it still isn't
that
even
anybody could get hold of. You know, you really have to sort of learn. It's almost a full development language now at this point.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, it still isn't even a confirmed standard yet.
And that's the next point. And even if you look at what they are stating, you know, what the proposal is to be the standard, there's still areas that, like, HTML, or that Silverlight deployment is going to be favorable if you're going cross-platform, cross-multiple devices. But also, there's going to be areas that HTML5 is favorable.
Yeah.
And you have to say, look, as a company, you're about delivering an experience.
Yep.
Okay? And you have to use the right tool for the right job. You shouldn't ignore the right tool just because of a bit of infighting, because somebody says, oh, we're not going to use that. If you ignore the right tool because of attitudes like that, then you are a right tool.
Yes.
It's really that simple.
Interesting post from over at Reuters. The headline is, a year later, Microsoft picture looks very different, which is what they're talking about, because we have the upcoming financial announcements coming on Thursday for Microsoft's second quarter. And they're basically, you know, the post basically going on about...
Second quarter?
Yeah, second quarter. Isn't it second quarter? Yeah. Yeah, second quarter. Pretty sure anyway. If I'm wrong, correct me. Anyway, the whole gist of the post is that while Microsoft may have blown away the market last year, okay, due to the success of Windows 7. This year, don't expect anything momentous. Don't even expect them to meet the expectations of the street.
I don't know about that.
I don't either, to be honest.
Because when you look back at Microsoft sales, when you look back at what they've been selling, the growth that they've had in markets, just because they didn't compete well in one market doesn't preclude sales from other markets.
Yeah.
You know? But no, honestly, Microsoft earnings call will not, it's not going to be
the only ones
high as the last one, which was record breaking.
The only ones that the earnings call is going to make happy are the Apple fanboys, because they'll begin to go, yay, Apple.
Well, you know what? Here's an interesting thing with regards to Apple. Apple is going to remain prosperous, and Apple is going to do very, very well as long as while Jobs is out, even if he doesn't come back. But I wonder how many more revolutionary products does Apple have left up their sleeve without Jobs at the helm?
Oh, they've got
that's what's going to be the difference long term.
They've got the motion control keyboard patent, so no mouse or trackpad. You can do it all on the keyboard.
Moving on.
Microsoft ships 2 million Windows Phone last quarter. Yay, we knew that they were going to ship some, but who really cares? But we do have some other boring stats. So I'll get them out of the way quick. Customer satisfaction rates for the phone is 92%. Brand awareness is up 22% to 66%. And there are 20,000 registered developers who have posted 6,400 apps for the new phone. 24,000, that's what I said. There, done.
Anyway, stats are stats, and stats are interesting and stats are boring. Look, the fact of the matter is they ship 2 million of these things. Yeah. Probably 60-70% of those actually made their way into customers' hands. Probably, if we're going to, doing our estimates of the numbers as we have been. All that we do know for sure is that the market is growing, and Microsoft are in this for the long haul. 2 million might not sound very impressive, but for a new entry into a relatively saturated market, that's not bad.
No.
Especially with a version 1 device, although they really need to start up on their game in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, moving on to perhaps the best news of the day. Oh, shut up, you cranky old Canadian. Park you. Angry Birds, which you're probably watching right now being played on the PC, hacked to work with Kinect, but not just with Kinect. It's using a software called Kinemote. And basically what Kinemote appears to be, to me anyway, is it uses Kinect to track what you're doing. Hodson, give over. Or the next time you start spouting on about bloody statistics that nobody who watches this actually cares about, except you big fucking Canadian fanboy, get you! You're probably wearing Microsoft underpants, aren't you? You probably have like fucking Microsoft mug and your bedclothes are Microsoft too. Anyway, back to Kinemote. And basically what it is it uses Kinect to track you, obviously, while you're playing the game, but it also allows for synchronous playing using an actual remote device, so say maybe a Wiimote or an Xbox 360 controller or something like that. Because sometimes the Kinect, it's just not going to be good enough for, say, very fast trigger presses or whatnot, so you get the best of both worlds. You get the Kinect experience, but still get the sort of rapid-fire stuff. And it's just really, although why you'd need that on Angry Birds is beyond me, but it's a good demo nonetheless. It's a bit of fun.
Yes. Anyway, folks, that has been...
Anyway, folks, look, before he rambles on, there's a donation drive going on WinExtra, okay? $250 Hodson is trying to raise so he can buy himself another pair of Microsoft underpants to go with his Microsoft slippers. For every $1 you donate, 50 cents goes to, his underpants, and the other 50 cents goes towards a prize fund. And once the $250 are hit, 2 of the people who have entered the competition will receive $60 each worth of Steam games that they can choose themselves and spend any which way. $1 to enter. The more you enter, the more chances you have of winning, and it'll keep him in Microsoft teabags for a while.
And on that note, folks, I'm Stephen. That's hilarious, Paul. This has been WinExtra's Daily Brief.
About me. The hilarious thing around here is your mustache.
Oh, God. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good day.